Studies show perfectionism can severely harm mental and physical health, and they also show it's on the rise. So while it looks good on paper for an interview, it can also hold you hostage from living a happy, free, and whole life. Sherry Elise is a self-described recovering perfectionist, and she's here to talk about embracing your imperfections. Hi, Sherry.
Hey, Aubrey, nice to be here with you.
So what's the first benefit we can have from embracing our imperfections?
Oh my gosh, more fun. Perfection holds us hostage. It keeps us back from trying new things. And when we allow ourselves for it to release its grip on ourselves, we end up taking more risks. And when we take more risks, we have more fun and we end up doing more living.
More fun and more living. That sounds like a great combination. Now, how does it help the way we connect with others?
Well, when we're hardwired, we are all hardwired to want to connect with other people, and when we can show up authentically, people actually relate to that. So when we show up imperfectly, people are like, "Oh, that looks like me," and then that inspires people to want to become more of themselves.
Yeah, that's interesting you said that because I just, as you said that, I thought about social media, and you see a lot of influencers and people that are able to connect, I guess, because they're following or finding like-minded individuals that aren't perfect, that show their flaws and are very transparent and real. Talk about the other ways that this can help our relationships.
Healthier relationships. So when we are able to understand our own imperfect nature, what that does is that then it allows us to start seeing that in others and accept it in others. And when we have both people accepting how the other ones are, we end up having more compassionate relationships, more authentic relationships, and absolutely more loving relationships.
Now, will this type of philosophy, if you get into this mindset, can it affect our overall happiness?
Absolutely, which is why I have much more joy because I've learned to understand my own imperfections. So, what this does is that when we understand we're imperfect, we stop being so hard on ourselves. And when we stop being so hard on ourselves, this invites more self forgiveness. This leaves space for more compassion for ourselves. And all of those things combined absolutely increases our happiness.
Yeah, I hear that. I'm very hard on myself. I will admit that. What else can you
Yeah.
say about being able to embrace our imperfections?
I mean, honestly, I've never met a group of people who haven't made mistakes. We all have. And when we're able to admit that and understand that, we're able to enjoy our lives more. I think the best thing that we can do is just go easy on ourselves.
And I see that you have your book there over your shoulder, Love Yourself Happy. Will we find these kind of tips and advice in your book?
Yes, absolutely. You'll find this. It's all about honestly showing up for ourselves, being there for ourselves, accepting ourselves, and really learning to love ourselves, not only happy, but love ourselves in the pain, love ourselves in the joy, in the triumphs and the falls.
You know, when we talk about imperfections, and like you said, you haven't met someone who doesn't have any flaws. There's really no perfect person out there. But why is it that you have found people really get hung up on the imperfections?
I think it's because there's such like this culture, like you even said, of social media and everybody trying to keep up. And often we're taught that the things that we achieve are equal to our value and our worth. And so we're constantly trying to prove that in some way. We're fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of mistakes. And so all of that combined, we're just always trying to show up and to be loved and validated.
And Sherry, where would you say someone can start? Because all of this sounds great, like all the benefits you mentioned and all
Mhm.
the ways we can use those imperfections to our advantage, but it can also be a little intimidating to maybe get started.
Yeah, so the first thing that I always say to anybody is first be kind to yourself. That's it. Like we're all going through something. Extending that compassion for yourself is the most important thing. But then I often remind people that sometimes all we need to do is just be able to be reminded that we're doing a good job. So I always encourage people to just go over to the mirror, and the first thing that you want to do is look at yourself right in the eyes and you want to say, "You're doing a great job." Sometimes just that little bit of validation opens up space within us to start trusting ourselves, to start being nicer to ourselves, and to start accepting more of ourselves.
Very good. Any final thought you want to leave for our viewers?
I just want everyone again to know that they are doing a great job, and I'd love for them to connect with me. This is such a it's such a hard thing that we're all going through, and the kinder we can be to ourselves, I'd love to help somebody out with that.
Well, I love your smile, Sherry. It's already giving me motivation to be happy and find joy. We appreciate you being on the show today. For more tips on how to love yourself happy, go to sherryelise.com.